Everybody wants to get united. Like, what we gotta do is meet everybody on 149th Street at the bench.
Today we're back at it again, checking out more throwies that you guys went ahead and submitted, and we're gonna put those on a scale from 1 to 10. And today we're gonna have some pretty good information for you guys. Now keep in mind, nothing I say in these videos is meant to be taken like to heart. I'm just here in order to go ahead and give you guys the information you need to, even if it might be a little bit of a bittersweet pill to swallow. It's all for the best. It's all in order to help you guys out. So let's hop right into it with the very first throwie right here. A slot throwie right here. Not too bad. Not too bad of a throwie. Give your L a little bit more room to exist. That letter name positioning is important for throwies, and you gotta keep it in mind. Because what happens is when you have the S overlap the L so much, you end up segmenting the top from the bottom. And now these two parts are not connected. That's just bad letter structure at that point, all because of letter positioning. Now I understand this is what always happens, what everyone always tells me. Oh, but John, I don't have a lot of room on the sticker. Account for the room you have on the sticker. Composition is important. Graffiti artists almost never think about composition, and they run into this issue because of it. Start thinking about composition. Alright, Taze, check this out. For your throwie, stop looking at other people's work. When we look at this, we can easily tell there's two totally different styles happening here that don't at all fit with one another. Their style threshold is completely different. Then we see a throwie like this and we're like, alright, this is a lot more simplistic, this is a lot more feasible for somebody who's still learning letter structure and the like. But then we go ahead and we see throwies like this, and we go, okay, well that's definitely not a T's letter structure, therefore you don't really have a fair understanding of letter structure, and then that leads into other issues, like, alright, well if you don't understand letter structure fully enough in order to make a throwie T that retains its letter structure's integrity, then how are you coming up with these different styles? How are you coming up with these vastly different style thresholds that take a long time to learn? If you don't have a good understanding of all the prerequisite fundamental knowledge, then you're not going to be able to switch style thresholds that drastically. And this is something I think a lot of graffiti artists overlook. I don't think a lot of graffiti artists realize how difficult it is to actually generate your own original style without proper fundamental knowledge. Sure, developing different styles is not hard at all once you have that prerequisite knowledge, but if you don't have the prerequisite knowledge, it's almost impossible. This is why it takes most graffiti artists decades to make a single style for themselves, let alone having 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different styles. You gotta be very careful with that, and this is by no means me calling them out, because almost every graffiti artist in existence is guilty of doing this. And what happens when you do this is you don't actually learn that prerequisite knowledge, and as a result you stagnate and you become more and more ignorant to your own mistakes as time passes on. If you don't want this to happen, if you want progress, which is why people are submitting in the first place, you have to learn the fundamentals. So we'll give this a good 3 or 4 out of 10. I'm not gonna lie. That right there is a nice spot. I also like the simplicity of the letters. This is a great way in order to begin doing, a little bit more stylistic things in your throwies in order to kind of ease into style in your throwies. You really want to be trying this. So what's happening here is they're kind of dedicating themselves to having one specific uniform top, right? So every single letter has these kind of little pointy bits at the top, and that's consistent amongst everything. They're not trying to do anything fancy, they're not going crazy, they're easing into style. But notice the bottoms of the letters are all round. Once again, the rounder you go for throwies, the simpler it's going to be, the easier it's going to be. So this is good. This is great for them to ease into style once again. This allows them to go ahead and build uniformity not only with the tops but the bottoms as well. What I would say the next step is for you is to go ahead and start straightening out your letters from your second letter on. The reason I say this is because your first letter is pretty straightforward. Every other letter after that leans to the left in order to help fill in that negative space. So what's going to end up happening here is when you straighten out all of your other letters, you'll build negative space between the first letter and the second letter. Alright, well now you got to solve that issue. How are you going to do that? You'll find out the answers to that. You'll kind of discover that as you go, but it'll allow you, in order to kind of get that more standard, straight, sturdy stance for the other letters, and it'll also allow you to add more letter structure if anything. So it'll boost your letter structure if anything. But you will run into other issues. You will have to compensate for this negative space that'll create, and then you'll be perfectly fine after that. And keep in mind, a little bit of negative space isn't bad. For this reason, we'll give this a good 6 out of 10. Not bad at all. I love the simplicity, I love the consistency, and the execution's pretty good. Are there flaws? Are there things that need to work on? Sure, yeah, but this is a great way to ease into things with throwies. Not bad. Today we had some pretty good throwies from you guys. If you want to potentially be in this series in the future, follow me over on Instagram. I post little stories asking for submissions whenever I'm about to do these videos. So keep an eye out for that, and you might find yourself in one of these videos. On that note, if you want to make graffiti as easy as it's ever been to learn, check out the books I published in the description down below. We're currently working on a hand style throwie, pieces, and style book all at the same time. They're going to be releasing at different times, but we're in the process of writing all of them right now. So feel feel free to check out the books that we've already published in the description down below, and check out the best How to Do Graffiti playlist anywhere online right up here. And I'll catch you guys back here next week. Thanks for watching.